FlixPop Radio is brought to you by the Greenwood Lake Marina, Cardinal Tours, Spaziani's Catering and Food Design, Monica's Italian Restaurant, the Silk City Podcast Network, The Reset with Stephanie Shore, Dream Builders by Design, Denise Fuchs, and Tony T's Roadshow. And today, Wayne Lifestyle Magazine. Yes! We have a great show for you today on FlixPop Radio. Live in the studio, Phil Barone from said Lifestyle, Wayne Lifestyle Magazine. We'll also talk to Clint Green. Keep messing that up, Phil. Clint Green from the Greenwood Lake Marina to get the skinny on what's happening at Greenwood Lake right now. We'll also have Santiago at the bottom of the hour with the People's Podcast Report. And listen, just for a quick note for my listeners, this show is a movie and entertainment show. And Lord knows there are plenty of, other radio shows and TV shows that are, dripping, with the stuff that's happening in the world today, And, even here at WGHT. So I kind of feel like the 10 or so listeners that tune in each week, Bill, I don't know.
That was a good week, right?
That was a great week? Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like they tune in each week, really just to want to escape the utter nonsense that's occurring, in the country in just this moment in time. So, I understand that loud and clear. I understand that it's a diversion. And, the stuff we talk about on this show, it is not all that serious. I mean, let's be honest about it, okay? But all that being said, I'm also a citizen. I'm a veteran. I'm a human being, and like many of you, I'm paying attention to what's going on. I'm not a registered Democrat. I'm not a registered Republican. I don't lean left. I don't lean right. I lean towards humanity. Okay. And I want to be upfront in saying that a lot of the decisions and rhetoric coming from our, current political thing, they don't reflect, my values, or the kind of world that I want to see for the people that I care about. But all during this week, I've been forced to face, my role in it, and the silence to me is starting to feel like complicity. And so I just wanted to say that, clearly and respectfully, with nobody particularly in mind, this is how I feel. And women out there, I love you. Okay. And that's all I can say about it.
We're not talking political movies today.
No,
right?
we are not.
Thank goodness.
All right. So listen, enough of that nonsense, Phil. Okay. All right, buddy. In the studio with me today on WGHT is from Wayne Lifestyle Magazine. And folks, this is not just like your normal, mag. This is like a nice magazine. You got to go get it. You probably get it in your house if you're in that Wayne area and that entire area. He's Phil Barone. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm so happy to be here. Let me say this. So listen to different episodes years in the past. I have a bone to pick with Punxsutawney Phil because, you guys even mentioned it. I think it was your last episode you talked about it. And he predicted, 6 more weeks of winter,
6 more weeks of winter.
All right. Well, how far out are we from that?
We're now 11 weeks out from that.
And we had snow last week.
We had snow last week.
That was mine. I did look up. Punxsutawney Phil is the 19th most accurate groundhog in the country. That's all. 19th out of like 31 or something.
So Clint Green told us last week, because he did the research on it. Clint Green, he's like a savant.
I like Clint.
This guy, right?
I like Clint a lot.
All right, he's up at the Greenwood Lake Marina, and he's the sales manager there. And he brought the stat, 39%.
Yeah.
That's Punxsutawney Phil is right only 39% of the time.
Yeah.
That's insane.
How do you count on that?
I don't know.
I would actually go the opposite. He saw a shadow, summer.
You're right 6 out of 10.
Right.
And you're profitable over the long haul. And I told Zach Kruk from the morning show, the sports guy, that he should, I want to know what his odds are on it. You know what I mean? So anyway,
Not
all right.
betting on that
listen, you know what? All that tells me is that you listen to my show, and
That's it, bro.
I am like flattered.
Well, thank you.
That's really awesome, because you're like, you're some wood over here, bro. All right, listen, everybody out there, we're going to play rapid fire. You cool with that?
I'm very cool with
Okay,
that.
cool. So the rapid fire movie segment gives us the opportunity every single week to learn more about our in-studio guests and the choices they make in this very game. Can we do an example
Of
like a couple of these questions?
Yeah, sure,
All right.
absolutely.
All right, so like Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Superhero movies or supervillain origin stories?
Hero all the way, bro.
End of world stakes or street level crime?
You know what? There's more emotion in street level. I'll take street level.
Agreed to. A little deeper now. Iron Man or Captain America?
Okay, so if we're talking movies,
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Okay.
As a person, Captain America.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just the movie.
The movie itself, Iron Man.
Okay.
His tech and those scenes are very cool.
Isn't that one of the best shows?
Yeah.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, or Spider-Man No Way Home?
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Love it too. The Batman 2022, or Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm a little torn on that. I'm going to say Doctor Strange because there was a lot of cool aspects they brought into that. I'm waiting to see how Batman 2 turns out, before I become too much fan. I was a big fan of the Christian Bale ones.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's a little hard to get on board the other ones.
Right, and don't you find that with these franchises, like a lot of even you take the main one, the first one ever, right? Superman and all that back then, Christopher Reeves, and there's always been it's rotated. There's been different Superman, right?
Yeah.
But it's really hard to make the adjustment and look at it's like Roger Moore being.
James Bond.
James Bond, and how many James Bond there was, and every time you get a new James Bond, you're like, it takes a little while to get used to the new one. Yes.
Yeah, and they always hate on the new one coming in.
That's right.
But then within 5 years, that's the best one ever. Every single new character and version they do.
Yeah, it really tells us more about what's in our mind and how we process things than it does about whether we like them or not. Harley Quinn or Scarlet Witch?
Scarlet Witch.
Okay. Zack Snyder's Justice League or Avengers Endgame?
Endgame. Endgame is my favorite hero movie of all time.
I think I know the answer to this one: Thor's hammer or Captain America's shield.
Okay, so it is the hammer.
I didn't know.
I have a custom Thor's hammer in my office. Guy out in California is making for weightlifting competitions. It is phenomenal. I have to show you sometime.
Tremendous. Shuri as Black Panther or Sam Wilson as Captain America, while we're speaking about roles?
Not a huge fan of either, but I'll say Sam Wilson.
Okay, got to pick one, right? Vibranium or Stark Tech?
Vibranium. Can do so much more.
Yeah, you're totally right. Isn't that how we measure the superheroes? I mean, the genre of today is really superhero movies, and sometimes we rank that superhero based on all the cool crap that they can do.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
absolutely.
Streaming series or theatrical release?
Theatrical all the way. These streaming series are weak.
They are.
They have to drag it out. There's always 2 to 3 episodes have nothing happen because they need to fill in their 6 or 8 or 12 or whatever.
And it's a huge setup too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite superhero out of all of them?
My favorite hero
Your favorite hero totally of all time?
Probably Thor. Yeah.
Thor?
Yeah, there's something about that godliness that I like, that appeals to me. I've always enjoyed that. And just when somebody has to hold back but win all the time. He has to hold back because if not, he'll just kill everybody. Right? So
it's like when you pick up a little bunny, you don't
Yes.
want to pick it up too hard and squish it. It's
I hug it really hard because I love it so much.
And then
it's all over me.
And it's all over.
Yeah.
The show just took a weird turn. Listen, we want to know who your favorite superhero is. Who do you admire? Text it to us, 845-328-0886. On the other side of the break, we will hear from Clint Green from the Greenwood Lake Marina. We'll also hear from Santiago coming up. We got tropes, quotes, and more from our guest, Phil Barone, and more on Wayne Lifestyle Magazine when we get back. Boxing in the early days was becoming very popular as a sport, but it was also becoming a way for everyday citizens to settle disputes, even between women.
In 1790, in Waddington, Lincolnshire, Mary Farmery and Susanna Locker both laid claims to the affections of the same young man.
This produced a challenge to fight each other for the prize, which was accepted by the latter.
Cornermen were chosen on both sides, and the fight was on. After several knockdown blows on both sides, the fight ended in a victory for Mary Farmery, who won the match and the man.
All right, I got the point, and that means I'm back. Welcome back to FlixPop Radio. I'm still here with Phil Barone, and we're tackling the current superhero movie genre. We're having a blast. I mean, this is like the coolest thing I get to do every week. Before I get back to the interview, I have a question for you, Phil.
Yes, I'm here.
You like being out in the water?
I do.
Boating, jet skiing?
I like it all. I like the boats a lot, and quite frankly, it's not for the reason most people are going to say. being on the water makes me fall asleep so easily, and it's the most peaceful sleep ever. And I don't sleep much, so if I get a chance to fall asleep on a boat, I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
It's just like it's like when you talk about waterbeds, it's like the motion, puts you out. And some of these boats that they have up there at the Greenwood Lake Marina, man, I think they even have water beds in them. I don't even know. Like, it's like being on a waterbed out in the water. But the best part about it is that the marina is the coolest place that there is anywhere around here. We're in Warwick, New York, obviously TBQ Studios here. And you got to go up there. You got to go greenwoodlakemarina.info. Visit their website. The sales manager there is Clint Green. Great guy, right?
Clint is amazing. I was so excited when I met him in talking. He has put in so many cool things they do there, and they keep adding to it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That place is unbelievable.
No, it's a really cool place. And they hit the jackpot when they got Clint Green over there.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy that he grew up on the lake, not on that particular lake, but like lake living and things like that. Yeah. He's always been on it. It's part of his life. So when you talk to this guy, he understands, what you need.
Clint, so there's people I know before I've known Clint that have told me about the guy from Greenwood Lake and how good a job he did. And then they've shown me their boats that they've gotten from them.
Oh,
too.
yeah, really?
Yeah, like legitimately.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. You don't, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I meet the guy later. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, he is pretty cool, actually.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And the people that own the place, like Elena, is a great, she's really cool. I met her. I was at the place. And you're right. Like the Greenwood Lake Marina, it's a really cool place. It's a really cool place. So go get out there. Go talk to my guy, Clint Green. And you will not be disappointed. greenwoodlakemarina.info. So Phil, thanks so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you. Every guest that appears on FlixPop Radio receives a gift certificate for dinner for two at Monica's Italian Restaurant, located at 1 Lakeside Ave in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. It's a great place. You ever been there?
I was there once.
Oh, so let me tell you.
I'm excited to go. My wife will be happy.
You're about to go back. And it's all courtesy of Monica's Italian Restaurant. Attila is the guy who owns the place. Right. You got to say hi to him when you go. Just a really great guy. Very concerned with his community. Let's just say that. But outside of that, the food is just banging.
Yeah.
Visit them today for more information at monicasrestaurant.net. All right, Phil, tell me about Wayne Lifestyle Magazine. Tell the people out there, what this is like, because I think that they all look at you and they'd be like, hey, owning a magazine, that's got to be the sexiest thing I ever did in my life.
I got to tell you, it kind of is.
Tell me why.
So the magazine, Wayne Lifestyle, so it's a luxury community magazine, and it goes to all affluent homes in Wayne and Fairfield, Montville, and Towacco, and other 740 businesses, separate subscriber lists. So we're up to about 71,000 readers a month. But the fact is it's connecting people. So it's all positives, all lights in the community. For the businesses that work with me as like a community advertising partner, the idea is to get people to know them, like them, and trust them. We do that through the monthly ads. There's extra little sections in there. Then there's featured articles. I bring people to a lot of networking, meetings and groups and introductions all over the place. It's about finding ways for people to get to know other people. Because if somebody gets to know you and then they like you and they trust you, they're going to use your service. And that's the whole idea.
And I feel like you do a great job with that, because the magazine is not really, not just a, for lack of a better word, a transactional kind of a place. This is like a magazine that is you're really rooted in the community. Yeah. And when you, in today's day and age, we really lack that like local flavor of our media, where we get information. Tell us how that paradigm's changed and how Wayne Style Lifestyle Magazine is like, kind of filling that.
Yeah. So for me, what I chose to do was I wanted to find a connection in the community that was deeper than just businesses, right? So I started with the schools. I said I want to do something that I involve myself with the schools that helps the kids in the community. So I'd started a student photography contest every year. And it's awesome. And I thought the first year I'd have like 20 entries. I didn't know, right? And I get like 200 in. I'm like, wow. Oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do with these? Yeah. But I've found ways to have this. These students, some of them are very high level photographers, but they get published. They I get to use them for certain photo shoots for advertisers. Now all of a sudden they're working in the world that they eventually want to like have a career in. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, I've gotten closer to the schools. The schools have me work with the students for different things, internships with them, additional monthly avenues for the kids to get exposure. And now that was with Wayne Hills and Wayne Valley. Now it's expanding in West Essex High School. something with the children is very appealing to me. So I've kept on that, and it's been growing very nicely.
And that's the kind of company that you want to help. I mean, the one that like really enriches your community, not the one that takes away from your community. The one that instills a pride in community in you, not the one that takes that away. So, congratulations, Phil. You've done a great job. This guy, I know this guy, and a lot of you that are listening to me today know him too. And you got a really sincere person who, really just wants to help you. And then when you get involved with him, you realize that, you're dealing with a cat that he really has your best interest. But not only that, he's an outside non-linear thinker. And if you guys know what that means at home, like to be a non-linear thinker, this guy can juggle 8 balls at once. This dude can, it's amazing sometimes, Phil, how I hear from you about this little detail that I might have mentioned to you, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
How are you so efficient with that stuff?
I don't know. So you know what's funny? I work off of emotions. I actually, a lot of times, I lose the facts a lot of times, but I remember emotions of something. So a lot of times, if you remember the emotion of something, it can lead you back to the real information. Or even if you had to fudge the information, it leaves everybody the same feeling. So who cares?
Yeah.
So something that appeals to me, that makes me feel a certain way, it sticks. In another situation that's similar, I'm like, oh yeah, remember when this happened? And people are like, that was like 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah.
Well, you
remember
said
how
you
you felt about that?
Exactly right. So, all right, let's get on a little bit. We're going to talk more about Wayne's Lifestyle Magazine, but let's talk tropes.
Okay.
Breakdown of the tropes, superhero movies, they tend to have some pretty unique tropes to them because basically they're very unique and just in terms of a genre. You know how it's like you love all of your children? Well, all of the genres, you love them all, but they're all different in a way, right? And so the superhero genre has a couple different tropes. The first one is like what they refer to as like the legacy mantle. This trope features a hero who steps into the shoes, of a fallen or retired predecessor. Spider-Man comes to mind right away, but often to carry on a legacy or to redefine it. What movies kind of fit into this for you?
Oh, God. Well, first of all, the Captain America movies fit into that big time because you had Steve Rogers, Captain America, then you go Sam Wilson. And I enjoy the fact that he doesn't try to be better. He's admitting, I'll never be as good as him, but let me try my best. I love somebody who wants to try their best.
How about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, 2021, Sam Wilson?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah.
What's it mean to be a new Captain America in a divided world? The Batman, what other kind of movies are in it?
Oh, my gosh. Well, Black Panther has it, of course. 2022,
Shuri takes on the mantle of Black Panther. That's totally in this trope.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Sure.
And I would imagine we'll see them again because as these actors are all aging, they're going to have to recast different people, right?
And we're going to hate it. We already talked about this.
But then 5 years later, they're going to be the best one.
They'll be the best one ever, right? That's like being the number one in something, Phil, right?
Right.
You just say you're number one at this or you're number one at that. You don't have to say I'm the number one in this or that. You just say you're number one.
I actually think I remember reading this is the number one independent radio station.
It is. That is correct. The only one that still takes calls and everything. And that's being awesome. Said, if you want to call up, 845-651-1110. You can also text 845-328-0886. I think you just saved my job, Phil. I don't think I say the numbers often enough. All right, trope number two. Trope number two, the multiverse mayhem. Storylines that transcend timelines, realities. And universes. They introduce an alternate version of a character, a timeline, or even entire worlds, give me a movie in this trope.
So I will tell you, Spider-Man No Way Home was the best out of all of them because it didn't do it just to expand their own universe. Didn't do any of that. It was literally paying homage to the other guys who played Spider-Man before him. And I love that. That's recognizing. That's, the trope of replacing or the next one in line. That not only did it, but it also acknowledged them and brought them into the fold. And actually, Andrew Garfield, who his movies were not thought of highly.
No.
I believe he's getting another movie now because of that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, he crept up on us. He's an acquired taste, and every single person that takes on a role that's taking over somebody else. I mean, that they go through that process. And of course, No Way Home 2021, 3 generations of Spider people meet.
That was cool.
I call them Spider People or Spider Men.
Spider-Man.
All right, Smega. How about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2022?
I thought that was going to be better than it was.
It kind of sucked.
It really did. It took a path it didn't need to take.
No.
Like, could have done that without the Scarlet Witch being that way. You could have done that without trying to throw in, I think her name's America Chavez, the girl that teleports. It felt like an old school superhero movie where there was a lot of flash, but nothing to it.
Got you. And but they used the trope. And so they're there anyway. I mean, they're nothing like The Flash 2023. I like that movie better. But this trope is one, you guys got it, right? Trope 3, villain redemption arcs. This is great. Modern superhero films explore like shades of gray, giving villains like a backstory with inner conflict. Even redemption rears its head in that, right? What are some of the movies that are in Trope 3?
There's an easy one on this, and it's not the movie, it's a series. Loki. Oh. Loki is the king of that redemption
2021.
Because, yes, he was always appreciated. Everybody loved him on screen, but he was the villain. And you loved him, but you hated him.
Yeah.
But you rooted for him in that show.
Sure.
He was the fan favorite in the show,
Yes. Black Adam?
Okay movie. Yes. I'm not sure how much of a redemption I feel on him because he was more just like doing his thing and it happened to fit in with other people.
It's why it's a little less effective than it could be, WandaVision.
I was going to bring that up. I've heard people talk about WandaVision for it. Now, the funny thing is WandaVision came out after Endgame, right? Yes. And so she starts out as a hero, ends up as the villain. So I actually look at it the other way. I don't think that's a redemption arc. I think that's a going down the dark path arc.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So because she didn't redeem herself, she became bad by the end.
So this is another trope that I didn't even really have listed here today. But yeah, the opposite effect of going down the wrong way. And this is what sometimes some of the villains in these superhero movies are really previous superheroes.
Oh, well, you can look at your own life and look at people It is very easy to in just our normal lives without being some crazy
wander up the reservation.
It's very easy to be the villain in life.
Yes.
Just as it's harder to be the hero, it's easy to be the villain.
Yeah.
Just give in to your desires. Right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I feel like this in this again, we talked about the escapism of like movies, right? And this genre, more than any other genre, really personifies that. It's an escape. You're suspending reality, right, to what you're seeing. They can do things that are superhuman. Maybe you even admire that, want to do it.
Right.
Maybe you like the villain and you want to be the villain, right? You admire the villain, the Joker, all of the ones that are involved in there. And it just becomes like the great escape, more so than like other genres,
Yeah.
Like documentaries aren't that way.
No, man. But maybe when you make one again, you should wear a cape.
No, next time I make a documentary, I think will be never.
I'm telling you, a cape would do it. You'd be fine.
Maybe I'll just have AI write my next one, Phil. Anyway, we return from the halftime break. We'll hear from Santiago and the People's Podcast. We'll go over some movie quotes. And we'll get more from Phil Barone, Wayne Lifestyle Magazine, my super uber guest for today. We'll be right back.
At this point, he was fighting and beating some of the best heavyweights in the division. He looked unstoppable and was clearly on a path to a title shot. What he really needed, though, was a training facility to call home.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the FlixPop radio show. We're still here with Phil Barone. We're working hard here. I mean, we are working it to the bone. We're discussing current superhero movies, and this just may be.
Tell me, I'm excited.
The fastest hour, the number one fastest hour in radio.
What time is it? Didn't I just get in the studio?
Yes. And that half hour blew by.
It's already half hour?
It's already half hour. And my guest is Phil Barone from Wayne Lifestyle Magazine. Let me ask you a question, though,
sure,
before we get back to our interview. What's your favorite type of vacation to take with your family?
So I'm normally a beach guy.
Oh yeah, your toes in the sand.
Yeah.
The smell of coconut oil in the air.
Bro, coconut oil.
Bikinis and
I look
people
good in a
in
bikini.
Speedos.
I look good in a bikini.
Are you a Speedo guy or you're a trunk
I'm
guy?
not a Speedo guy. I'm like a wrap a giant towel around me guy.
So listen, I have to tell you guys, like, I know this guy's my friend. Let's be honest. Like, and you know what? When I first started doing the show, I felt like I had to have like famous people, like well-known people, and I really started out that way, interviewing more well-known people. But
thanks for letting me know you've changed, and now I'm on.
Now I just have eminently average people.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
I aspire to that.
I kid because I care.
I know.
But the thing is that now I bring in people that I know intimately.
Yeah.
Because I have one major eye on just great radio. And I feel like it's better radio when, when I know the person and we have like a background and we know things about each other. Yeah. So I just want to, give you some context. Like Phil, he's a good looking guy sitting here next to me to my right. But when he was younger, he was a dancer.
He was
an exotic.
I was an exotic
dancer. Okay.
Did it for one summer.
He did that for one summer.
It was a fun summer.
Let me live vicariously for 1 minute, okay, through you. Because I always wanted to have like, $10 bills stuffed into my G-string. Like, what the hell is that like?
Let me just say this. It is a lot more work than you would think. It's actually work. And you come out of there tired and not for the fun reasons. No. There's a lot of great stories. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a family show, so I'm not going to give them, but...
Yeah, this is not a family show. This is not a family show.
I think my kids are going to listen, but...
No, but we're not cursing. We're not talking about evil things, But I mean, like, things like that are cool. I think it's part of the tapestry of Phil Barone.
Absolutely. So here's the funny thing is it wasn't just that. I worked for an entertainment company. Mm-hmm. So that was some of the work I did. But I did balloon deliveries, singing telegrams. I did kids' birthdays dressed in costumes. I was Ninja Turtles, Big Bird, Barney... I was Batman with the 89 costume. I got to wear that twice, that actual real costume.
Really?
Awesome. Heavy and warm as heck in there. And then Power Rangers, Red Ranger.
Oh, my gosh.
I had to learn the kick that the Red Ranger does in the show, which was like a jump spinning kick. That was like the requirement to do those birthday parties because you're always going to get asked it.
Phil?
Yes.
Meet Woodrow. I mean, come on, dude. That's like the best job I ever heard of in my life.
It was a lot
There's
of fun.
no complaining about that.
No,
like,
listen, it was a lot of fun.
When you come home and you say, I'm really tired from a long day at work, like, I got no sympathy for you in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, What was the weirdest kind of like, you mentioned all those things. What's the weirdest one?
So the weirdest one was actually, the weirdest thing that just happened in like 5 minutes was I had to deliver balloons in a pink gorilla outfit. I don't know why, but that was what I had to do.
A pink gorilla
outfit. But the best one was I had to be Barney for a kid's birthday party. And it was a very elitist home that they were at in the backyard. And I had to sing this song like, I love you, right? I had to know the song and sing it. And this Barney costume had this thick tail on it. Right. And the kids, for some reason, were standing around me punching me in every angle. Wow. And I kind of waddled up to the parents like, hey, your kids are punching me. Like, we're paying you. Deal with it. I'm like, really?
Really?
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
That's something I don't work well with. Mm-hmm. So I went back over and I started singing a song. They punched me. And I'm like, what's over there? And I swung my tail around. I was knocking kids right and left. It was amazing.
The statute of limitations for this run out on this, right?
It's already over. It's too late. It's too late.
So your best vacation is your toes in the sand.
Absolutely.
We get off on a rant
Sorry,
here, but
Barney.
To me, the hands down best vacation, though, it's a European river tour vacation. But every time I try to book one, my efforts are squandered like the Joker and Batman. I mean, I'm shot down. Not easy. So instead now today I call Cardinal Tours in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. They specialize in European river tour vacations. My friend Betty Houston is there. She's a wonderful person. The FlixPop Radio loves her. You will love her too. She'll plan all the details for you. She'll help you to plan, your exclusive resort or group vacation excursion. And you can, really rely on her experience. Call her today, 973-835-0177.
If I forego the Monica's gift card,
yes,
can I get one for a European river tour?
I'm sure I could get you a credit.
No, I'm all right. Thank you.
You're all right. Thank you. Yeah. But listen, you could do a lot worse than going on. These are like riverboat cruises.
I think this would be the coolest trip.
It would be the coolest trip, but not only anybody can go on a riverboat cruise down the Mississippi, but can you go and get overseas European river tours?
No, I don't think you can. Do they go on the other side of the channel, like the streets? Are they coming the opposite way.
Dude, it's like the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's like
driving on the wrong side of the road in Europe. Maybe they're on the other side of the river.
There's boat cops. And listen, but here's the thing. We can talk about all we got till we're blue in the face.
Yeah.
Okay? And we might put out wrong information. You got to go sit down with Betty Houston. All right? You got to listen.
I got to talk to Betty.
You have to talk to Betty Houston at Cardinal Tours. And she, will really she'll hook you up. Okay, enough about Betty Houston.
I'm calling you Monday.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Phil's calling her Monday. Good. There you go, Betty. Third, I want to just let you guys know, I'm still here with Phil Barone, and I'm working his fingers to the bone in this movie genre. What's your favorite superhero movie of all time?
It is Endgame. Bro, I can't believe I lived to see that movie.
Really?
Yes. There's no way that movie should have happened or worked.
Why?
It took 10 years to develop. It took all of everybody's individual movies to get together the different Avengers movies, but then to make everything come together. And in that movie, they pulled every little unfinished part of business from every movie that existed. And there's so many little things in there. It's unbelievable. And then when they finally let Captain America, that portal scene, and I've said it before, that portal scene near the end of the movie when they're all coming back after being snapped away, I think is probably the single best scene in cinema. The single best scene in cinema. If you've been a fan through the movies, I think that's the one that appeals most out of anything.
You'd say it's the number one movie?
I'd say it's the number one scene.
Number one scene.
I think that's the number one scene in all movies.
Right.
I think it's a great movie. I think it's the number one scene, though.
Isn't that, though, really the brass tacks of it? I mean, most of these movies in any genre that are so... they traverse time, is that they have that one scene that is absolutely unbelievable. Give us another one of those in another movies that's an iconic superhero scene.
Oh my God, there's so many of them.
How about when Spider-Man meet with his grandfather, and what about something like that?
That's iconic, but sad iconic. That's not inspiring. To me, iconic has to be inspiring.
What is it?
Batman. Batman Begins, right? Earlier in the movie, he sees the girl he's friends with, Rachel. He's acting like an aloof billionaire. And she just thinks he's an idiot coming out of a hotel with a couple of girls.
Aren't we all?
And she's like, you're a nice guy, but it's not what you say. It's not who you are underneath that matters. It's what you do. And then later in the movie, he saves them. And she's like, you could die. What's your name? He's like, it's not who I am underneath. It's what I do that defines me. Dude, that is an awesome moment. It's an awesome moment.
And what a line. And we're going to get into some of these quotes for superhero movies on the other side of the break, which we're almost there. We're not there yet, though. Let's not rush time here.
I want to stay long.
What about some of the newer films that are out in the superhero genre? Give me one that you really are looking forward to seeing, or that you have
one's
seen.
Coming. Oh, well, two ways to look at it. If you take after Endgame, I really haven't liked a lot of the movies. The Deadpool Wolverine movie was awesome. That was great. And that was almost like an Endgame for Fox, the Fox movies. Mm-hmm. I liked Shang-Chi a lot. I thought there was a great storyline. That love storyline was phenomenal.
Go see that one, folks. That's a rom. That's, what do we call that? What? That's a mixture genre. It's an intergenre. It's a romantic superhero adventure
with
thing
monster.
At some.
That was good.
So, it's funny, Phil, you always talk about out of the box things and stuff. Yeah. And for the listeners out there, anybody who may be looking to, maybe you're a business and you have a message, or you have, some kind of a cause, or maybe, you have an industry where people don't know like what you do or whatever. One of the great things to do, if you don't have a radio show, is to have a podcast. And it seems like everybody in the world either has one or wants one. It's like how when I discuss divorce, right? 50% of people are divorced. 40% of the people who aren't kind of want to be. And they're just living through it. But a podcast is everybody wants one. They don't understand how hard it is to get one, and how hard it is to do it. It seems a lot easier than it is, right?
No, it's because we're all watching on the internet. Everything we see on the internet is sunshine and roses, man.
Sunshine and roses.
Always sees the best.
You only get the best, right? Yeah.
Therefore, every podcast is simple.
It's simple. But here's the thing. You may not know how to do it. You may not know how to go about it. You may not think that you can do it. What I want you to do, people, is I want you to take this email down. Paul C. flixbastante@gmail.com. If you would like to start a podcast, I would like to help you do it.
If I may step in and tell you,
Sure, go ahead.
I know multiple people you've helped start their podcasts.
Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely. And they are very happy with what's happened. They are now running theirs and it's going good. And reality is they owe it to you helping them. So,
well, I mean, I appreciate that. And yeah, I do enjoy to help people that want to get their message across. Yeah. And, I always, when I do these things, this is kind of like my natural gig, Phil. I'm like, I'm so much more comfortable when I have a mic in front of me. And sometimes I struggle with, some interactions that are maybe difficult because of, my personality, my flaws and all my things that everybody has out there in the world. But when I get in front of a microphone, it's like my alter ego. It's like I'm a superhero.
Yeah.
And
you have a face for microphones. So it works well.
A face for radio, yes. I call it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Except if I, when I go on social media, I just go ahead and like airbrush that crap. And, like now I'm getting the best version of myself, right? I'm no longer the best face for radio. But the thing is, like, podcasting is something I'm really good at, and I want to help people.
Yeah.
And, I have a lot of them that are in development with businesses, and it's a really great way to network and market your business that's kind of out of the box and is kind of a little less expensive. What kind of clients? Do you have clients who have their own podcast?
I have lots of clients who do their own podcasts, and what people don't actually understand about podcasts is it doesn't necessarily have to be for the audience you think is listening to the podcast. There's a lot of people do a podcast to have their clips to use on their social media, for their business, for their websites. Appearance is reality for a lot of times,
Sure.
right? If you look small as a business, you are a small business in people's minds, right?
Yeah, right.
If you can look bigger, if you can look more relevant, these are things that help.
Yeah.
So there's clients, a lot of them that have podcasts. Some of them literally just have it to have their own content for their different
Yeah,
media
because
centers.
social media, and we call the dirty C word, it's content.
Yeah.
That's what we say about it. It's the hardest thing. Everybody thinks that they're a social media genius, and they don't know and understand that there's content is needed. You know, you can't just like put your dinner on there or whatever.
That's
so
why
anyway,
because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, paulcbastante@gmail.com. On the other side of the break, we'll play Stump the Host. We'll do some quotes with Phil Barone here. We'll discuss some of the most iconic superhero quotes of the modern era. And we'll have Santiago as well. After all this, don't go away.
There was an accident, in town, and they were waiting for one of the ambulances from a hospital. And that takes a long time. And unfortunately, the guy didn't make it. And Joe said, we can't have this happen in our town. So he started staging exhibition fights so they can raise enough money so the town can buy an ambulance. And that was the first one in the area, which made all the other towns follow suit because everybody needs one, right?
Talking podcasts here already. And, where I do my podcast, two places, Tony T's in Kinnelon, the Hut, and also ANJ Studios in Pompton Plains, New Jersey. This place is, well, let's just say it's the shiz. Okay, if we can. And I have Andrew Santiago. Santiago, how are you today, my friend?
Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Phil.
What's
how are
up,
you guys
brother? How you been?
Today?
We're doing good, man. How are you, my friend? How's it all going? I miss you.
Oh, man, it has been absolutely awesome. The weather's breaking right, and, we're talking about one of my favorite topics, superhero movies.
Nice.
Just in general.
What's your favorite?
You know what? Endgame is awesome.
Thanks for placating me. What's your favorite?
I'm actually... I'm right before. I'm Infinity War.
Okay.
Well, favorite has to be Civil War. I'm sorry. Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
They're actually all good.
How do you pick one that's not good, please?
I'm going to just break it down just real quick, though. If you look at, the stats, top to bottom, phenomenal film.
Yeah.
Phenomenal film.
So we thought you left to go get the stats.
Yes.
I should have. Well, actually, I thought that I found the podcast for you guys. I think it's actually perfect for listeners of the superhero world. That way they don't have to fight.
Okay.
It's called Dynamic Duel, DC versus Marvel podcast.
Ooh,
nice.
That sounds juicy.
Nice.
Now, what's really great about this, to make it even more in-depth, is that it's actually hosted by twin brothers, John and Joe.
Oh, that's fun.
That's awesome.
And they release episodes every single Thursday. They discuss, obviously they pick different heroes back and forth. So because we're a little bit of comic book heads. So for example, they'll go Darkseid's Elite versus Thanos and the Black Order.
Okay.
Who will win? They also break down movie genres like the Joker, and it's awesome just all across the board.
That's fun.
And
I gotta
that's
check that out.
available on all major streaming platforms too as well.
So, listeners out there, we're talking to Santiago. I'm going to do a quick thing here with you, Phil, right?
Sure.
You give me the answer the minute you realize what I'm doing, okay?
Okay.
All right, ready? Pele.
Soccer?
No. Madonna. Prince.
Icons?
Santiago.
Icons.
No, people who only go by one name.
That's a good point.
All right. And
Maybe I'll just be Phil going
You're
forward.
just Phil.
Yeah.
Santiago, we were talking about the podcast and the benefits of it and everything for business. And Phil mentioned your place. Your place is I think I said it was the Shiz. It's awesome for video.
It.
Like if you want to do a video podcast, you got to go over by Santiago and Pompton Plains. But Santiago, give us like the difference, like quickly between an audio only and a video, and maybe like how it could help. Which one's better, maybe in your opinion?
Well, audio is, for me, I will always tell people, audio is a great way to start. It's a great way to start. You can listen, you can really focus and kind of build your movements. Video is key because you're actually going to be able to, like we said, the dirty C word, right? You're going to be able to create content. But video also gives people the opportunity to visually see you, connect with you, those expressions that you capture where people are like, all those moments are seen and shown, and I feel like builds such a relatability.
Yeah.
And such a connection, and that's what really takes it up to the next level.
You're so right. Even in the magazine, everybody's so visual.
Yeah.
So it's the stories that I have that are just words and like one little picture, nowhere near as good as the stories that just have solid, good pictures with them. It could be the same words.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in these. That's
Absolutely.
why his studio is awesome.
Yeah, it really is, to watch it and the visual and everything. Hang out with us here now, Santiago, because and I want to do this because you're such a great fan of the superhero genre. And you were on the show a couple weeks ago, and we talked about like the Marvel comic movies. So we're going to do quotes right now, and before we put me to the test with this week's edition of Stump the Host, let's dive into some of the most iconic and memorable quotes from this week's featured genre, which is current superhero movies. These are the lines that stuck with us, made us laugh, maybe even made us tear up. I've been known to cry and shed a tear a little bit from time to time, and definitely helped define what makes this genre so great. So first one's for you, Phil. I'm going to give you, because this is, if you don't get this, the show's over. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
What do you got?
I Am Iron Man.
2 movies, bro.
Go ahead.
2 movies.
Go.
End of first Iron Man movie.
Yes,
right?
but
Where it started, and Robert Downey Jr. brought that back. That wasn't supposed to be the line. He brought that back at the end of Endgame.
Tremendous. Wakanda Forever. Obviously, that's an easy one. With great power, Santiago, there must also come great responsibility.
Of course, that's Spider-Man, and that could be Tobey Maguire,
Or
Spider-Man.
the 2021 version.
Garfield.
Yep.
That's right. Could be
Yeah.
No Way Home.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, it's usually misquoted, Paul.
It is usually
It's
misquoted.
usually misquoted. It's usually said with great power, also
comes great
responsibility.
Right.
That's not what was said.
That's exactly not what was said. So, all right, you break from the rules and become a hero. I do it, and I become the enemy. That doesn't seem fair.
Doctor Strange.
He's got this.
I don't think that's an iconic line.
That's a pretty good line.
It's a decent line.
Doctor
With Wanda.
Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, I really just want to shine a little light on this movie because it's a pretty good movie. I don't know. I liked it.
I like the first one better, but yeah.
That's a whole sequel debate, right? All right. So why don't you now you have a chance to actually try to stump my guest in the studio.
What do you got?
What do you got, Santiago? Give something to Phil.
No,
See if he
it
knows
has to be current, right?
Yeah,
And don't give me they're
It could
over
be-
there. That's not going to
give him something good.
No. How about this one? Let me see if he knows
I'm
this
so
one, all right?
nervous.
Okay. Play the music.
Vaya con Dios, Castle. God's going to sit this one out.
Well, it's
good.
Punisher, bro, but I don't know if it's from Punisher or Daredevil.
What, the same exact line said in 2?
It's that Castle. No, it's from the
I
Punisher
had to
series.
give-
It's from the Punisher series.
I had to give him a hint, because if not, I felt like if I would have said God's going to sit this one out, I don't know if you would have gotten that one off the top, because it's not the most popular of Marvel movies, but it definitely works.
Okay.
All right, so now I'm going to give you...
What was the answer?
No, you were right. It's actually the Punisher from the 2003 version.
Okay.
I think 2003 version, not from the TV series.
For the movie, one of the movies.
I'll tell you what, you guys are such geeks with the superhero
We're
stuff, man.
so nerdy.
Like
bro.
my brain is like shriveling up over here behind the glass. The producer and owner of the station, Frank, is looking at me like what? Like I'm an alien.
They are. They're
over
looking
here.
at us
I'm
like we're
I'm
ridiculous.
shrinking. They don't know what's going
I'm
on.
dying to do a story on superheroes.
Well, you're gonna, because you own the magazine.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Duh. All right, so you tell me, how about you try to give Santiago something maybe to stump him, because this guy's he's like a walking superhero encyclopedia.
Santiago is?
Yes.
That's.
I love
how do
it.
I beat that now?
I love Marvel.
Go ahead, try to beat him.
Okay, all right, let's see. How about when you said you're thinking of opening up the borders, I thought you meant a Starbucks.
Listen, let's not get political here, okay? We don't need to be talking
It's a line in a movie, bro.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Oh, that's got to be... I'm going to go with Civil War.
No.
I know that.
He is not a superhero god.
He's been stumped.
Black Panther.
Santiago?
Really?
Yes.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Okay.
Santiago?
Okoye said it.
You?
Oh, you're right. Hold on. At the
Oh, I
end
know,
of Black Panther, when he's talking to his sister...
I thought
That's
Okoye
where it
said it,
comes from, that
but
line.
one of them said it,
You
yeah.
can't go that direction, Santiago. You've been stumped. It's official, okay?
You know what
And-
happened? He typed it in Google while I said it.
Well, see, that's the
took
risk
too
you
long to
run.
guess.
That's the risk you run. Anybody you
Just
ask,
kidding,
they can just
Santiago.
Google it. Like, we don't have that that luxury. Or they can ask.
That's why you got to make things up and not actually be factual.
Exactly right. Santiago, thanks for having fun with us. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for being a good dude, as you always are. And if you're at home and you're thinking about a podcast, you call me or you call Andrew Santiago from A&J Studios. My friend, we'll see you next week, okay?
Great talking to you, man.
All right. See you next week.
Take care,
Good
bro.
talking, Phil. Bye, guys.
You got it, bro. All right. So we're coming down the stretch here. We got a couple minutes left. What is it that you would want to kind of tell the viewers about Wayne Lifestyle Magazine that they might not know, or what's a good referral for you? Maybe if they're not somebody that can use you, maybe they know somebody who can.
So it is important to know it's not the right moment for everybody. Like the person that's brand new that doesn't know their income, that's not it. So the guy, the person that's established that their business works, they're making money. Now they're looking to take a step up, or they have a business that people need to understand them more or understand their product more. And the other one is there's that guy that's like third down from the top. He sees the top two guys. He wants to get that way. That's where he is. And these are the three that fit in perfect with me.
Absolutely. And if you have not used Wayne Lifestyle Magazine, you've got to do it. How long have you had this place? How long have you had the magazine?
4 years.
4 years?
Yep.
Okay.
And another 10 months to launch it before that.
What made you get, quick story, how does somebody, it's not like you were all going through school. My dream in life is to
never
be
thought,
a magazine owner.
Never thought I'd do that. But the funny thing is every single aspect of what I do is something I've done before. I just never had it pulled together as a magazine. And it's now knowing so many other publishers that have started, like one of my writers, she wanted to do this. And so she went and started Denville Lifestyle, and I've rooted her on, helped her where I could too. It's nothing people strive for. It just fits into who you are. You got to be the right type of person for this. You can't be selfish doing this. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And your sincerity comes through, and everything you do with your business, and the people that have used you. Because look, it's a nice magazine. It looks nice and everything's pretty and everything. But really, what really matters is the business that you get and the people that I talk to. We have United Tips of America. We have our networking group, and our networking group that meets every other Thursday at Spaziani's Catering in Butler, New Jersey, 1572 Route 23 North is the best, right?
I gotta tell you,
about Spaziani's
It's
Catering.
really good, and I've told a lot of people this, not inside that group. I've said that is one of the best places to host your own event because it's wide enough open that people can mingle, but they have different food stations, nice stations around the entire outside, and the food is fantastic. And then Anthony, he's a food design artist also. So he was like one of the world tops ice sculpture makers too. I saw his book of them. Fantastic stuff.
Go visit Spaziani's Catering and visit their Friday night feast. FlixPop Radio is brought to you by the Greenwood Lake Marina, Cardinal Tours, Spaziani's Catering and Food Design, Monica's Italian Restaurant, the Silk City Podcast Network, The Reset with Stephanie Shore, and Dream Builders by Design. Of course, I want to thank my guest, Phil Barone, for being in the studio.
Thank you.